Good morning, warriors. Today, I am coming to you from a secret location in the halls of ILHS. Actually, it's not in the halls because it's in a conference room. Today, I want you to think about what is considered normal and abnormal in our society. In American society, what is normal behavior? What is abnormal behavior? It is important to this unit because abnormal behavior is the title of the unit, and it's one of the indicators that tells us if somebody has a mental disorder, a clinical psychological disorder. Now, as we go through this unit, I want you to avoid calling people psycho or crazy or incompetent or any of those things. You and I are not doctors of psychology, and so we are not qualified to make a clinical diagnosis about whether or not someone has an anxiety disorder or PTSD or OCD or any of those things. And we shouldn't say, oh my gosh, that behavior is so OCD. We just shouldn't because we're not doctors. However, I am going to ask you to make assessments of people. So it's kind of contradictory. Yes, I want you to know what is abnormal and normal, but I don't want you to, number one, and most importantly, apply this to yourself, and number two, apply it to someone else or a member of your family. So please avoid doing that. And let's find out more about what is a mental disorder. All right, so this unit is about psychological disorders, and our next unit will be about treatment of those disorders. And we get our information and make decisions about what psychological disorders are based on behavior. So psychological disorders are behavior patterns or mental processes that cause serious personal suffering or interfere with a person's ability to cope with everyday life. So if a behavior prevents us from living life normally, or as we define normal, then it could be a disorder. But we have to go a little bit further, of course, because these are serious symptoms, and define the symptoms. So the symptoms include things like being dangerous. And you can think of the 4 Ds of these behaviors. Is it dangerous? Is it dysfunctional? By being dangerous, does it put someone in danger or harm someone else? Dysfunctional, does it prevent us from living a daily life? Is it distressful? Does it cause the person who is suffering from this to feel too much emotional distress? Or is it deviant? Does it go against the standard of norms? Look, today was a really cold day and I wore a winter coat. Now, if I had come to school dressed for summer, that would have been deviant. It is deviant to, I still think it's a little bit deviant to have certain piercings, like the nose septum piercing to me is a little bit deviant, but to you guys is perfectly fine. Having some of your teachers all tatted up is perfectly fine for us today. But when I was going to school, that was still deviant. Deviant behavior is, it changes over time. It's something we talk a lot about in sociology. In your notes, I've given you this chart, and I want you to think about how we would see the behavior of dangerous, dysfunctional, distressful, and deviant. Now, deviant is socially acceptable behavior if it crosses socially acceptable behavior. Try to brainstorm dangerous, dysfunctional, distressful, and deviant behavior, and give us 2 for each. And then we'll talk about these, of course, in class. The ways that we figure out whether or not a behavior is a mental disorder is we consult this book, which I have one in my classroom that is currently propping up a desk. The DSM-5 is the Diagnostic and Statistics Manual of Mental Disorders, and it is what doctors will use to check out behaviors and kind of figure out whether or not it really is truly something that is deviant, distressful, dangerous, and whatever the other one was. So listed in there are all of these different disorders, and they are listed in your notes as well. Here they all are. Again, you can see them in your notes as well. And that concludes this portion of Unit 13, our psychological disorders. So stay tuned for the next lesson. We'll learn about anxiety disorders. Remember the 4 Ds, dangerous, dysfunctional, distressful, and deviant. I did remember them all. And if I am going to see a therapist, I should see this book on their bookshelf because that is what is used to diagnose and then figure out a treatment for these behaviors. All right, talk to you later.